Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar, Tim Vicious. I am talking about SummerSlam. Probably one of the best SummerSlams they've had in years, and I said we as in plural because for the first time since Royal Rumble, she has once again decided to make her return. Thank God she answered my calls. And Kenny, not trying to steal, not doing gimmick infringement, repeating her name, the Irish commodity, the lovely Miss Vicky Earls.
Hello.
Alright, so talking about SummerSlam, like I said, and you said, now we were talking a little bit beforehand. You were saying you saw the pre-show, right, with Cesaro and Van Dam. Yeah, but me, I thought it was good. They could have done a little better. I mean, it just felt like it was like the best match on Monday Night Raw kind of quality. How about you?
You know, I was watching it, but I wasn't watching it at the same time. I was kind of getting ready for the pay-per-view and stuff like that, texting, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's other than that, the big thing that really got me mad on that, and it's something that I've been bringing up a lot lately, is the big lack of storylines in the matches. I mean, why are they just giving us a random match having Guy A versus Guy B? Where's the story behind them two wanting to go at it?
Yeah, true. It doesn't get the crowd into it either, does it?
Yeah, I mean...
Build them up for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, house shows and dark matches, that's one thing. You're going to have random guys go against each other, okay. But it's honestly, it just makes no sense. It's bullshit in my opinion. And, you know, I mean, we grew up in a generation where all the matches had at least some kind of a story, even if it wasn't the best story. It's just nobody got on TV unless there was a legitimate reason. Yeah. Alright, so after Cesaro wound up losing to Van Dam. Van Dam, I'm not impressed with Rob's run. I personally think he'd be better off being a trainer down at the Performance Center, especially given his age and the way he's still able to keep himself in shape and move around. You know, he could wind up teaching a lot of guys a good thing or two. How about you?
How to roll the joints.
Well, aside from that, you know, but hey, you know, straight edge, I don't touch that stuff.
Nope.
Yeah. Anyway.
So with him, I feel like this is Rob Van Dam of TNA, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Very lazy. Movement isn't there. And I like him, but I'm not liking this the last year. No.
Yeah, if honestly, and you know, I've brought this up before, Van Dam wound up losing I'm trying to think of the word on how to say it. Van Dam lost what he had with the crowd right when WWE ECW came to be. And I think that's one part because of the character and one part because of the show itself, and everyone was just like, what the hell? This is bullshit. And then Van Dam just kept that same kind of attitude all the way through TNA, and now look where he is.
Sure. Let's move on.
Yeah, on with the main show now. Hogan came out right at the beginning of SummerSlam, plugged the network for $9.99. And, yep, that's my cheap $9.99 plug for the night. And then hyped up the match with Cena and Lesnar at the end of the night. We'll be talking about that one as later in the show. After that, he went off to the back. I'm guessing to watch No Holds Barred with him and Zeus. But, first match of the night. Dolph Ziggler versus the ball bag Miz. Yeah, he's the ball bag. I would call him the Kitten Killer because he could be the Kitten Killer because every time Miz does the figure four, God kills a kitten. You know, so somebody, please, think of the kittens here! Mike, think of the kittens! You know, seriously though, I mean, I thought the match was pretty good. It was a good solid opening match, you know, and it was nice seeing the Intercontinental title actually get a really decent match, especially at SummerSlam considering, you know, probably some of the best IC title matches happened there. I mean, Rock and Triple H, Christ, I just had the, yeah, Honky Tonkin' Warrior, and shit, I can't remember the last one. Oh well. Either way, I thought the match was good. How about you? Were there any spots in it that you kind of popped for?
I loved that match. I thought they have this great natural flow with each other. You know, they work so well together. I love that he kicked out of the skull crushing finale.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was, and you know, they showed that they could really work and they could hustle, and I absolutely loved it. Ziggler, right out of nowhere, wham, popped the zigzag, got the 1, 2, 3. He won, which, thank God, you know, especially, and I know I've been saying for a while the reason why they haven't been giving Ziggler a push is because he's concussion prone, but if they're willing to do this, there's nothing saying that within like the next 5, maybe 6 months from now, he could wind up, get my words stumbled. He could wind up main eventing and, you know, winning and going up in a main event spot. Yeah, I'm hoping with that. Now, next matchup, it was Paige and AJ, and right off bat, my first reaction is the same one I always get. It's an ST Divas match. The second reaction I get is reaching for my shotgun and trying to find somebody chanting CM Punk. But that's a story meant for another day. Anyways, Vicky, the floor is yours. Give your say on the match.
I liked it.
Sure.
Look, I said this on Tony's show just tonight as well. I am gonna defend the Divas because there's no one else gonna. And I think Paige has turned it. I think AJ is so weak as a babyface.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when she was rocking the Chickbusters thing, that was one thing, but I mean, it's just, and honestly, it's, to add to your point with that, with them being the two only good wrestlers on the roster, that's because those two are actually the ones that actually wanted to be wrestlers. Everyone else was just a model that got hired. Yeah, and you know, it's I've been pushing this for months, if not years now. You know, stop looking for models. You know, start checking the indie scene. Start looking for some girls on there. You know, like Cherry Bomb, Mia Yim, Veda Scott. You know, it's something like that. You know, I mean, hell, if they could get Christine Von Eerie on the roster, that would definitely add to that would definitely help. Folks, if y'all ain't seen on how Christine Von Eerie looks, check it out, because trust me, just appearance alone, it'll help add depth to the women's roster, just based off of her look alone. Yeah, me, I thought some of the spots that were really cool were when AJ right out of nowhere pulled out Paige's extensions, and everyone was like, holy shit, did she pull her hair out? You know, doing like a Mankind thing. And yeah, I thought that was good. Other than that, the only other spot that I really thought was really good was the way Paige won when she went and did that DDT. And that's just me, though, especially since, you know, I was a DDT guy. Yeah, but Paige wound up hitting that. I can't remember what they said the name of that move was, but she hit that. She got the 1, 2, 3, and then boom, she won. And yeah, it was a good way to help celebrate her birthday. Also, on that fact. Excuse me. Next matchup, Swagger and Rusev in a flag match. Now, before we get into that, just want to note real quick. A lot of people were griping because they were saying that the flag match wasn't like a traditional one where people have to climb up the ring and grab a flag. But, you know, in all fairness, they did a match like that and the same kind of idea a long while back with WWE versus ECW, and the winner wound up having their flag waved as the victor. So, you know, can't really complain that much on that aspect. But on with the match. The two best parts, hands down, in my opinion, the two best parts about the opening of the match was the color guard coming out with Swagger and Lana. How about you?
I actually don't like Rusev too much.
Yeah, Rusev, I could...
No burn with him. I think I will appreciate him sometime soon. I loved that he sold that ankle injury
Yeah.
the whole time. For him to sell it, and he's so big and stuff, and strong, he's very good.
Yeah. And it was really nice to see, and big thing I noticed real quick, and this just because I grew up around a bunch of guys that were in the military. The second Rusev hit Swagger before the bell even rang and before the flag even started to fall, right as like it was still in mid-air dropping, Zeb was reaching to go and grab it. And, you know, that's definitely something, and I definitely like that. I definitely liked the ending on how the match was. It was a good, solid match. Rusev won the match by putting in the accolades. Swagger never tapped out, which I absolutely love because that adds more to the story now because he didn't quit. And they could build that and play that, saying that he didn't quit, Americans don't quit, and, you know, he's willing to fight and come back for more. Yeah, and also really impressed at the end when Zeb was in there going to check on Swagger, and right out of nowhere, wham! Rusev went and decked Zeb, and my first thing I thought right off bat when that happened was Vader doing the same thing to Gorilla Monsoon back in the 90s. You know, it was nice seeing that they're willing to do that because Rusev can definitely score some heat doing that, especially given Zeb's background and, you know, them playing up that he's a grandfather and that he's a war veteran and all too. But next matchup, quite possibly the best match of the night. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose Lumberjack match. I absolutely loved it. How about you?
I loved it, and I loved that the numbers were used correctly.
Yeah, it was nice to see that, you know, they had the Lumberjacks actually not be biased and like have the heels on one end and the baby faces on another end, and they only attack only certain guys are going to attack someone. They actually made it look like it was like a legitimate lumberjack match from like the 70s. You know? Like from the 70s style of wrestling, and it was nice seeing Ambrose and Rollins. Those two guys got some serious chemistry, and you know, I wound up thinking on this also, and if they can book this right between them two, those guys can wind up going and being the next generation's Rockin' Austin as far as with their feuds go. You know, just, okay, have them two feud for a bit, stop, feud, stop, feud, stop, and just as they're building themselves up on the card at the same time. How about you?
I agree. They have fantastic chemistry. They work so well together.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure inside out at this point, but nothing gets boring.
yeah, in which case,
Talented.
yeah, and people, make sure you thank Ring of Honor and Combat Zone Wrestling for these two guys. You know? Best spots in the match in my book were when Dean wound up doing that dive right off the top onto Seth and all the Lumberjacks, and when they were fighting literally through the crowd, yeah, Kane wound up coming down, ordering all the Lumberjacks to come get them, come bring them back to the ring. They did. Dean was just like inches away from winning. He wound up hitting Seth with his own move. He did the curb stomp. You got 1, 2. Next thing you know, Kane comes in, pulls the ref off, starts yelling, and before anything, next thing you know, Goldust comes in and starts screaming at Kane. Goldust winds up taking a shot from him. Next thing you know, Cody comes in, and then everyone starts coming in, swinging like crazy at each other. Seth decks Dean with the Money in the Bank briefcase, winds up hitting him with a curb stomp, and then gets a 1, 2, 3. Seth won, and like I said, I absolutely loved it. You know, and now they're adding Kane to the mix, so they're doing something to help keep this story fresh, which, you know, my book, that's always a good thing, because if you're going to have a long, drawn-out story, you got to do something to make it fresh. Yeah. Now, next matchup. Hold on, let me look at my notes here. And, yep, now, let's see, my notes right here. Next matchup, it was Bray versus Y2J, which, possibly the biggest disappointment of the night. These guys could work so much better. They did an amazing show last month, and this one this match just felt like it was horse shit, and they were just feeding us like, okay, yeah, we have to do this, we'll do this. We gotta hit this spot, we'll hit this spot. You know, and it just felt like bullshit. The only thing I wound up actually bothering to like look at and actually think, holy shit, this is cool, was when Bray did the Sister Abigail on the security post. You know, hell, Bray wound up doing his spider walk thing right in front of Jericho, and Jericho was just standing there like, duh. Which, you know, I've never seen him actually have that kind of look on him. Vicky, what's your take on the match?
I think it's a lazy feud for both of them. I don't think there's chemistry there. I think they're facing their own opponents. They don't challenge each other, and they should. They don't bring out the best in each other at all. You know?
Yeah. Now, obviously, yeah. Bray obviously got the win. You know, he wound up hitting the Sister Abigail in the ring, and knew Bray was going to win this match because Jericho won the last match at the last pay-per-view, and it's according to all the dirt sheets, Jericho's only going to be in WWE until the end of September, so they're probably going to get a rubber match with them two at Night of Champions, and then Jericho's going to job to Bray. So that's what I think is going to wind up happening, but, you know, that's just me and my thinking. You know, I ain't going to go and try and toot my own shit like I'm Dave Meltzer, which I'll save my rant on him for another day. Next matchup, Brie versus Stephanie, and first off, before I even try and attempt to break this match down, I'm just saying, Steph's outfit, yeah, definitely. Thank God somebody wound up finding one of my old sketchbooks, took one of those drawings out, and yeah, somebody ran with that, and good Lord Almighty. For a woman her age, she looks hotter now than she did back in the day. But enough on that part. Vicky, please take the floor.
I liked it. You knew I was going to say that.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, it was good. I liked it. You know, I didn't walk in there expecting like a 5-star stellar match. You know, I mean, but for not being in the ring for 10 years and having 10 years worth of ring rust, Steph moved around pretty good. I mean, I thought the tie-up right at the beginning of the match was kind of sloppy between them both, but other than that, the match itself was pretty good. The match wound up coming to an end when, excuse me, when Brie, and yes, folks, you've seen it here first, I actually did get her name right. I didn't wind up making some lame cheese reference. I'll save that for next week. But she wound up getting the LaBelle lock in, and Steph was right on the verge of tapping out when Hunter pulled the ref out. Ref took a bump. Next thing you know, Nikki wound up coming in. They both cornered her, and Nikki wound up throwing a punch at Brie. Brie took a dive, and then next thing you know, Steph hit a pedigree and got the 1-2-3.
That wasn't a punch, that was a bull hammer.
Um,
A damn good one.
yeah. You know, maybe she's cheating on Cena and fooling around with Barrett on the side, and he showed her a move or two. Yeah, if that's the case, then Wade's got to look at John and say he's got some bad news for him. That'd be really cool. Anyways, moving on. Next matchup, it was Randy versus Roman Reigns. Reigns coming out with black gear with blue highlight stripes on it, looking like a mix of Tron and a crossing guard. And Randy now all of a sudden decides it's okay to wear different colored trunks, but only at pay-per-views apparently. You know, I'm pretty sure somewhere out there, Batista was yelling at his TV at last month's pay-per-view saying, "Oh, now you'll decide to wear fucking blue." But yeah, the match itself, it was good. Randy could have done more. It felt like he was just going through the groove. Like, okay, it's just a match, I'll work it. What's your take on it?
Are you crazy?
It didn't feel like Randy was really willing to push himself in it.
He worked his effing arse off to make Roman look brilliant.
Oh, I'm not knocking that. I'm saying when he was working his moves. I meant the way I was saying it. It felt like he was working his moves. Like he was just like, oh, okay, now I got to do a clothesline. Now I'll do the DDT. You know, it didn't feel like he was actually like looking to like try and make himself look like he was putting in the effort for his part. What he did for Roman was incredible, you know, and possibly best spot of the night in that match was when Randy threw out that RKO right out of nowhere. Roman had the Superman punch lined up, fist cocked back, ready to go. Next thing you know, right out of nowhere, wham! Randy hit him with the RKO. Thought that was beautiful.
I definitely thought the first 5 minutes were very slow.
Yeah.
Then it got really good. He worked that match.
Yeah, Randy really did carry that match, and you know, it's Reigns. And you know, I've called it a million times before, and I'll say it again. Reigns is going to get the same kind of push Batista did, and it's obvious he's getting it. It's just Reigns obviously needs to up his moveset a little more. He does. He's mostly just thrown out a lot of punches and doing 3 or so actual legitimate wrestling moves. I personally think he should do like every work TV shows and house shows like every 2 weeks and spend the other 2 weeks out of the month going to the performance center just to brush up on moves and work on his mic skills, because his mic skills just don't really seem all the way there yet. Yeah, I'm not knocking the guy because the kid's got a hell of a future ahead of him. He's going to get he's obviously got a hell of a babyface push going for him now. It's just everyone's looking at him and seeing him as being the next guy right now. I don't see him as the next guy right now. I see him as being the next guy next year from now. You know, that's my take on it though, but Reigns wound up getting the win, and hands down the biggest win in his singles career yet. Getting a spear right out of nowhere on Randy. Got the 1, 2, 3. Reigns won, and excuse me. Like I said, I see a hell of a push for this kid. That guy's going to definitely be going places, and within like the next 3 to 4 years, we should be seeing him main event in WrestleMania. Now, next match, the main event of the night. Superman versus Doomsday right here, kids. And if you don't understand that reference, 1, you need to start reading some comics. And 2, after you're done watching this show, look it up on Wikipedia if you haven't read the comics. Superman versus Doomsday. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and oh my God almighty, I absolutely love the psychology in this match. This was beautiful. This match was everything Brock needed, especially coming off a beaten Taker. You know, it was really good, and the way Brock moved, the way he was working the ring, and the way he worked Cena was incredible. Vicky, your take?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously amazing.
And 16 German suplexes he threw out through that entire match. And not even like the first minute into the match, Cena, right when the bell rang, Cena, foolish for whatever reason, ran all the way into the corner at Brock. Brock started throwing swings at him, and Brock got him up and F5'd him. Not even within the first minute of the damn match. Yeah, like the first 30 seconds in. Then, for whatever reason, at partway through the match, John decided to try and mat wrestle Brock Lesnar, and my first thought right off bat is, you're gonna try and mat wrestle a former NCAA champion. Really? John, I know I call you an idiot a lot on this show, but really? That right there definitely shows you're an idiot. You know, and also, I absolutely loved when Cena wound up getting that one small bit of momentum, threw out an AA on Lesnar, rolled himself over into the corner, Lesnar just laying there on the mat, and right out of nowhere, boom, pop up like Taker. Just like, holy shit. When I seen that, I had the surprised Taker guy look on my face, like, and Vicky, I know you can't see it right now, but I'm trying my best to do that look.
It was almost like he was just reminding you that he
Yeah, and, you know, I've been saying since word got out that Lesnar was going to fight Cena for the title at this show that Lesnar needed to win, because if he didn't, it would have discredited the streak and it would have ruined the legacy of not just the streak but of The Undertaker as well, especially considering all the work that that man, Mark Calloway, put into this business. You know, he's one of the few guys that still stick by the idea of keeping in kayfabe. You know, and yeah, it's also absolutely loved every time right before Lesnar threw out a German suplex, you could hear Paul Heyman just yelling, "Here comes the pain!" Just hearing Paul yell that, and then next thing you know, boom, Brock throws out a suplex. Heyman yells it again, boom, Brock throws out a suplex. Heyman yells it again, boom, Brock throws out a suplex. At the way the match ended, Cena, last-ditch effort, got in an STF on Lesnar, pulling for dear life on him. Lesnar rolled himself around onto his back and started swinging at Cena and going at it, swinging at him like if he was still in the octagon. Next thing you know, picked Cena up like he was just dead weight, put him on his shoulders, hit him with the F5, got the 1, 2, 3, and yeah, next thing you know, Paul Heyman just bowing down to him. And then as they're walking to the back, you just hear Heyman yelling, "You're a conqueror! You conquered him! You conquered the WWE Universe!" And yet, basically, am I wrong?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and
Very unique.
yeah, and this is the thing I've been pushing for a while. You know, I'm not a big fan of part-timers, especially part-timers being champions, but them doing this is showing that they're at least trying to do something different. They're not, it's completely different than what they were doing when Rock was champion, because they were just doing that to buy time so that way they could have Rock versus Cena part 2. With this one, it's actually they're trying to do something different, and, you know, the following night on Raw, you could see that they were doing it because they had new logos, new attitude. Everything just seemed a lot more edgier and more like they're pushing the PG boundary. You know, and I absolutely loved what they're doing now. And I'm hoping that this leads to a lot of really good shit down the road. How about you? Oh, me either. I'm not gonna hold my breath and say, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great," because it's never gonna say everything's gonna be better. I mean, hell, now looking in hindsight, I'm actually, I've been spending a lot of time on the network, and I actually dig more of WCW when Vince Russo book was handling it, more so than the Attitude Era when he was working there. Alright, but anyways, that's for the show. So, Vicky, before I go and do my normal spiel at the end, do you got any shout outs or anything you want to say?
Just want to say I'll be back soon. You should have me.
Oh, are you kidding? If I could, I'd have you on here every week. If I could, I'd have you on here every week, love. You know that.
Yes, all the snakeheads and everybody. Stephen Wiles, go follow him. He's amazing too. Darren, Kenny, the whole lot,
Alright, alright, so folks, that's all the time for this week's show. So like I always tell y'all, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at Tim Vicious. Make sure y'all look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. Surprisingly, it's been a good while since I've been put in Twitter jail, so I think I deserve a gold star on that one. Make sure y'all follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. The ever so lovely Miss Vicky Earls, as she's on here right now. Make sure y'all also look for Vicky's YouTube channel as well. Also, make sure y'all follow I Am Danny Sunday, Mucky Morse, Axel Mulligan. Make sure y'all follow Axel's Axel show Axel's analysis. It's a lot like this, but it's on NXT, so that just means it's naturally better. Sunday Segue, Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Grandpa, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, Just a Stupid Mark. Make sure you also go and watch Ollie Ben and Masked Mark's TNA turnaround, and Ollie really comparing me to the greatest douche nozzle that ever clogged. Really? Now who's the piece of shit? Also, make sure y'all follow Bronx Bitch number 4 ever, who, may I add, and as I've been saying, is my client and will be the new Raw General Manager. Alright, and like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.